was my dream job that turned into a nightmare. What people don't realize is how many of those animals that they came and saw just disappeared.
They got animals from him. They had at least 2 lions from him.
In our community, this is going on right under our noses.
A local zoo. Investigations into alleged animal abuse. A fire at an off-site barn. And a direct connection to one of the biggest international docuseries on Netflix. All happening right here in our own backyard. Good evening. I'm WFRV Local 5's Nate Stewart. And if this all sounds like another episode of the series Tiger King, you're not far off. 30 minutes outside of Green Bay is the former site of Special Memories Zoo, a quaint roadside zoo that is now shut down after investigations into animal care. If you watch the Netflix series Tiger King, you know the name Joe Exotic, the flamboyant, charismatic zoo owner now serving time on federal charges of animal abuse and attempted murder for hire. And there's a direct connection to Exotic and Special Memories Zoo. But before we connect the dots and show you how the two are linked, we look at the history of the zoo and some of the legal issues and concerns about the treatment of animals that go back years. A warning, some of what you're about to see and hear is graphic.
This is a small community where everyone knows their neighbors, everyone goes to the same sporting events, and we're a tight-knit community. And in our community, this is going on right under our noses.
This was my dream job that turned into a nightmare.
It felt like a reality TV show, honestly.
These ladies are speaking out about their experience as workers at the now closed Special Memories Zoo, which operated in Greenville, Wisconsin.
I had been taken to the Special Memories Zoo many times in my youth with my family.
Bethany Gangler worked there in 2014 for just under a year.
And I thought it was the coolest place ever because you could get up close with the monkeys and the different animals.
Haley Lynn worked there in 2017 as a zookeeper. Rachel Williams was hired in 2012 and worked there for 3 years. And Amy Miller was hired in 2013 and spent 4 years at the zoo. All of them say they took their jobs to get more experience in caring and understanding animals for their careers moving forward. But they say things started off strange from the get-go.
There wasn't any written instructions on how to feed the animals or how to take care of them. So I actually kind of came up with my own on a Google Doc.
It just seemed like a ragtag, just in shambles kind of an operation. Even at 16, I knew that this probably wasn't what regular zoos looked like on the inside.
The zoo was regulated by the United States Department of Agriculture, who was charged with doing yearly animal welfare inspections. Although the USDA regulations do not require an inspector to schedule inspections in advance, the regulations do require a facilities representative to accompany inspectors. On some past occasions, Special Memories zookeepers in charge were not around when the USDA arrived to complete the inspection. During one attempted inspection in March of 2007, the USDA inspection report states the licensee did not have a responsible person available to conduct an animal welfare inspection. The dealer's facility was not able to be inspected for compliance with the Animal Welfare Act regulations and standards and to ensure the health and well-being of the animals. Another inspection in 2011 stated the same thing, that a responsible person must be available to accompany the inspector on an animal welfare inspection. We did not obtain the actual inspection records for 2007 to 2014 other than the 2 attempted inspections.
So the different species of animals, all the birds.
In 2015, when Bethany decided to quit, she filed a complaint with the USDA about all the things she witnessed, sending them pictures of the conditions and the animals. Warning, these images are graphic.
Feces under enclosures, probably, I think it was 6 inches high with mold growing on it. Rodent trappings infesting the feeding areas.
It got to the point where there was green algae growing in the water bottles that we would, fill.
All the animals, like all the hoof stock, all like the farm animals and stuff, they always had horrible hooves. They were always overgrown.
And so eventually the animal, would just eventually die. I mean, they would succumb to their illnesses.
In some instances, they would be kind of just gone the next day, and we wouldn't know where they were.
What people don't realize is how many of those animals that they came and saw that just disappeared.
The USDA went to conduct an inspection at the end of April in 2015, but once again, a responsible adult was not available to accompany officials during the inspection process. However, the USDA was able to conduct an inspection the following month, citing special memories for things like contaminated feed, soiled bedding, and lack of adequate water for non-human primates. After the water bottles were filled, we observed that each affected animal immediately went to the water bottles and were drinking non-stop for a minute each. The USDA inspection went on to say that the amount of time the animals drank suggested that they were very thirsty.
And the water is a huge deal. Animals cannot go very long without water.
The USDA filed an official warning of violating federal regulations, stating that a sufficient number of adequately trained employees shall be utilized and potable water must be provided in sufficient quantity to every non-human primate housed at the facility. Special Memories Zoo owner Donna Wheeler addressed those issues to Local 5 back in 2015.
There really aren't any major issues. If there were major issues, the USDA would be at your door, and every animal you see here in my zoo, a couple hundred of them, 300, would all be gone.
In the midst of the 2015 inspection, the zoo made national headlines for stolen animals. Special Memories Zoo made national headlines in 2015 after their inspection by the USDA. But what many of you don't know is their connection between Joe Exotic and GW Zoo in Wynwood, Oklahoma, the zoo featured in the Netflix documentary Tiger King.
If you took them, just bring them back. I mean, our main concern is the animals. We just want them to be healthy. We want them back where they belong.
According to an interview with the Outagamie County Sheriff's Office, Gretchen Crow was the zoo's longtime keeper and was responsible for the day-to-day operations. One worker also questioned the zoo's safety for employees.
I felt like we weren't given, I guess, proper safety equipment working with some of the monkeys.
In a USDA inspection in February of 2016, it showed that an employee was bitten on her hand by a black bear and required stitches. The zookeeper stated that they have training procedures in place for all employees, and this employee did receive the training. However, there is no documentation to verify that adequate training has been provided to the employee. For the lack documentation to evidence employee training, the zoo was given a month to correct the issue by. Bethany, Haley, Rachel, and Amy say that they wanted to report poor conditions, but struggled with wanting to keep their jobs and help save the animals.
You almost feel this guilt because you feel like you have to stay there, because if you don't, then you feel like animals aren't getting some of the care that they would want or that they should have.
I don't like to admit that I was there during a time where it wasn't being run properly, because we all did care. All the zookeepers cared very, very much.
Do I report them, lose my job? Do I quit? Or do I just keep coming every day, because at least when I'm here I can make sure that they have food and water every day?
The zoo, however, did clean up its act. During an inspection in May of 2018, it states that no non-compliant items were identified during this inspection. In addition, there were concerns over some zoo acquisitions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Joe Exotic, and this is Sarge.
After I had quit, Special Memories Zoo purchased 3 lion cubs from GW Zoo, the zoo featured in Tiger King.
A certificate of veterinary inspection from the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry shows that Special Memories Zoo acquired 2 two-week-old lion cubs from Joe Exotic with GW Zoo in Wynwood, Oklahoma in January of 2017. The zoo featured in the hit Netflix documentary Tiger King.
They got animals from him. They had at least 2 lions from him.
Special Memories purchased another 2-week-old lion cub from Exotic in April of 2017. The USDA states that newborn and infant non-domestic cats 4 weeks of age or younger have special handling and husbandry needs. and should be housed with their mother for as long as possible after birth to promote good health. Tony Elizuzin is with the Animal Legal Defense Fund.
We're an organization that was formed by lawyers in the 1970s with a mission to advance the legal interest of animals through the legal system.
The group started investigating special memories in 2015 and sent a notice of intent to sue the zoo in September of 2019.
We've also sued both of the owners, Gene and Donna Wheeler, and the zoo manager, Gretchen Crow, who our understanding is responsible for the day-to-day operations of the zoo. We're suing them for violating the Endangered Species Act with regard to all the endangered animals such as tigers, lions, gray wolves, lemurs, and then as a public nuisance under Wisconsin state law based on violations of animal cruelty laws and captive wildlife laws in Wisconsin.
The zoo has denied all of the ALDF allegations and recently filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. In addition, Special Memory Zoo shut down after the 2019 season. A statement from the ALDF states that it had offered to rehome all the animals free of charge. The owner said that they would take care of it themselves. Some of those animals are housed at an off-site barn during the winter season. Court documents show that on March 18th of this year, Special Memories submitted a letter to the court that, due to Mr. Wheeler's health complications and this lawsuit, and the recognition that the ALDF will only continue to pursue claims against the zoo, even if they prevail in this action, the Wheelers made the difficult decision to rehome its animals. It also stated that the only endangered or threatened animal in Special Memories Zoo LLC's possession is the Canadian lynx, which they intend to rehome. Other standard farm animals were still in their possession. We did reach out to Special Memories Zoo and its owners, Gene and Donna Wheeler, as well as zookeeper Gretchen Crow multiple times. All three did not return our calls.